Good evening. How's it going, man? Been that kind of week. I'm up late building, so I was like, may as well just stream it. Trying to catch up on these builds. So for the most part, tonight we're just throwing together a Core i7 13th gen, so it's a 13700K F. Guy right here. So it's a nice little beefy build. We're also going to be running DDR5, so this is Agent Smith. Thanks for the resubscribe. Appreciate you, sir. Is it me or is the stream hitching? I don't know. I don't see it on my end, and I don't see any drop packets. And it says we're not dropping any frames. Is it my voice that's... Is it the sound or is it the video? Agent Smith, are we skipping for you? It also could be that I'm just overwhelming the stream PC, but does it? We got all frames. No, sir? So it must be something on your end, Mern. Are you watching on your stream PC? But anyway, we're going to be building with a Core i7 13700KF tonight on a Pro Z7 790p Wi-Fi. So this is actually my first 700 series build. Most of them have been 600 series builds. We'll see what happens. I'm at the gym right now. Oh, gotcha. You're running on your LG, the 4G or 5G, depending on what you got there. But this is DDR5. This is 64 gigs. We went heavy with the RAM. This is at 6,000 megahertz. This is Intel XMP ready. These are the things that I talk about on the YouTube channel right now, but specifically for people that are building some of these newer rigs with DDR5, you want to look for, especially for an Intel build, you want to look for these Intel XMP ready, because this means that these guys took the time to verify that this kit works with this setup, or Intel specifically. So these are things that I call out. Another thing we're going to be doing, which I have been doing for these LGA 1700 builds, is the LGA 1700 contact plate. It helps about lower the temperature by like 10 degrees Celsius just by using this plate. And what that does is it evenly distributes the contact of the cooler to the CPU, because the CPU is a little bit wider, or longer should I say, and therefore it does a little bit of bubbling when you mash it all down. And this contact plate makes sure that it stays level, so that when the cooler touches the top of the CPU, it is also level. So it gives it a little bit more contact and reduces the speed or the temperature by like 10 degrees Celsius, which is a huge thing, and these things are only like 13 to 20 bucks. So this one's by Thermalright. Thermal Grizzly also has one out there. I think it's like $40. Gamers Nexus actually did a really good video showing you the details of both contact plates, Thermalright versus Thermal Grizzly, and they're about the same. So I would just go with the cheaper one, honestly. The big difference is Thermal Grizzly is more consistent with their manufacturing, being more accurate on the thickness, which makes a very slight difference, but over the samples that Gamers Nexus did, which they purchased several at different times, and they all pretty much came in pretty close. So no reason to spend the extra cash. It's not that big of a difference. Just go with the cheaper one, I'd say, because all it's going to do is just live under the cooler for its life and really not do anything else outside of that. The downside to doing that is you then lose the hammer removal or simplicity of removing your CPU, where if you ever need to go remove the CPU, you do have to undo 4 screws and then add 4 screws again when you go put your new CPU in. But it's not that big of a pain. In most of these builds, I will likely be doing that anyway. So we're going to be cooling the CPU with an LS520 by Deepcool. This is their addressable RGB, 240 millimeter cooler. Normally I'd go with 280, but I think we're just limited on budget and everything, and we're going to have enough airflow in here, so I'm not really too concerned about it. And this cooler itself does a really good job, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to be okay with the cooling, even when we run some high intense CPU programs on there. Phanteks set here that I don't know for sure if we're going to need or not, but I have them just in case. And we are building in a Phanteks G360A. So this is one of their newer models from their 300 series. Used to be like the P300 something, but now it's the P360A. And the reason why is because you can mount a 360mm AIO to the top of the case if you wanted to. Graphics card. We are building with the RTX, I believe this one's the 3070. No, I'm sorry. This is the RTX 3080. So this is a 3080, 10 gig. It's MSI Venice, which is got 3 fans. It's OC factory. We also have a GPU bracket. This is going to be a local pickup, so I'm going to put everything in there. And we're also building with a 1000 watt power supply. So when the day comes and he wants to upgrade to like a 4090 or a 4080, he would definitely be able to handle that. So that's an 80 plus gold by RS game. I have it out of the box because I had to borrow it to test something. That's what I do here. But I have everything here for it, so still brand new. And then we do have some cables. I believe we have white. Yep, black white. We got black white stripe, Ziva stripe cables to go in there. And we have a 1 terabyte M.2 drive. NVMe. Gen 3, not Gen 4. Let me just start throwing things around. Let's go ahead and get started with the motherboard. This build's probably going to be pretty quick. Not a whole lot to it. Nothing super crazy in this build. I'll switch over to the side view or the top down with the side view. One or the other. Probably the top down is going to be good for this. 5G? Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I was just building late and I was like, I should just stream this because I don't really have any calls or people showing up or anything like that. It was kind of a good opportunity just to stream it. I haven't been streaming a lot. Heads down, focused on everything. There is our Z790 Wi-Fi. Got the Wi-Fi built into it, which is nice. It's also got support for 600 series also, but it's got a couple newer features on it, I believe. I honestly think that the 790, and this is just a personal Rubies. I didn't miss it. Let's go. Nice. Well, we didn't miss anything. We're just building. This is Ruby. This is a i7 build. So this is not. I don't think your build that you're looking. But I think that one's Thursday night. If you could tell me, like, this channel streamer. I couldn't tell. Oh, okay. Thanks. But for the most part, my opinion on the 700 series, it actually has been better with the DDR5 experience, if anybody's been following that. But we've been having a lot of issues with DDR5 on Intel motherboards mostly. AMD's actually been really easy to work with. And it's mostly just setting the XMP profile. That's been a big problem. AMD's been pretty good about it. Intel, not so much, but the 700 series seems to be easy. I was building over there. Didn't move any of my tools. So, let's go ahead and get the RAM SSD in here and then get the GPU taken care of. We're going to pull these stock brackets off the socket. Oops, not that one. I also did a huge build over there. It was actually an Origin PC upgrade. Back behind me, I don't know if you can see it or not, but that big white beast over there, that was all open loop, liquid cooled, and we're looking for something a little bit more simple to maintain because he didn't want to maintain the open loop anymore. So we ended up pulling the open loop out, then putting in one of those Arctic coolers, the Arctic freezers that I'm falling in love with, slowly. Surely. They actually perform very well. But they, we ended up just pulling that completely out and doing that AI build. Just a lot easier for him to manage and maintain. Good. Yep, turning out nice. Did a complete motherboard upgrade, CPU upgrade while we're in there, and did a RAM upgrade as well. And then replaced all the fans because the fans were just completely nasty. I gotta say that case is probably one of the first cases that I've ever built in, even though it's probably the most expensive case on the planet. It was not easy to build in. It was a big pain in the ass. Took me almost 2 days to go through all of it and clean it. It was really dirty. Very, very dirty. So, made it look like new again after running for 5 years with an open loop. So in this situation, because this is not a Gen 4 drive, I'm going to try to put it down on the bottom so it's not where it's going to be more. I'd probably put it down here so it's here for him to replace in the future, or if he wants to add a Gen 4. I just don't want to use up some of the top slots that are. Row. A row. Nope. RAM.2 drive is installed. And our DDR5 is installed, all 64 gigs. Now what we're going to do is take this LGA socket out with these 4 screws here and replace it with a contact plate, or put the CPU in and then replace it with a contact plate. Anyway, thought I'd go live with the newer build. When I say newer, it's got newer parts in it. You guys can check out and see what kind of crazy stuff we have to do. Newer builds. Hate doing it. So, depends. What I'm going to do here, actually, before I loosen this up completely, is I'm going to put the CPU in there. You cover the pins up. That way, if anything flies out, the only thing it's going to do is hit the top of the CPU and not damage these pins. There's like 5 million pins there. There's not actually 5 million. Exaggerating. But there's a lot of small pins there. A lot of bad things can happen to those small pins. One thing I haven't done live on stream yet is drop socket pins live. So that's always something to look forward to. I'm sure it'll happen one day. There we go, we've got the LGA socket removed. There's a back plate on the back of the motherboard. I don't want to move this motherboard to show you guys, because that back plate's going to be removed from alignment. Hey, Andrew Tate. Do you remember me? I'm the kid that had the name Dylan Castillo. Yes, I remember you, Dylan. How's it going over there on YouTube? Gerby, applause. Thank you for the applause over on the Twitch side. This is all the contact plate is. It literally is just a big piece of metal that goes over the CPU and covers all edges of it, pulls it down. So make sure that it is as even as possible. And we're just going to reuse the same screws that came with the motherboard, stock screws. And this is the important piece when you're installing this contact plate. It is to evenly tighten it, every single one down. So what I'm going to do is use this as a guide and basically talk about 1/4 turn, half turn, 3/4 turn, full turn. So I don't know if you saw that, but 1/4 turn would be like that, half turn would be like that, 3/4. So that is what I'm doing and how I'm measuring. More of a guesstimate. It's not perfect, but it's as close as you need to get. So I'm at 1 full turn. One start. So I know it has a bite. And I'm going to do 1 full turn, corner to corner. This way we're evenly tightening this up. And 1 more full turn. Actually back this one off. Back this one off one head. Did it. That was weird. These 2 corners here allowed me to tighten it down a lot more. These 2. Upper point there. And thermal rights instructions is pretty much just tighten it down until it's tight. So don't specify the torque or anything. I was trying to keep it even, but at some point it just, two of them stopped spinning. The other two kept spinning. But that is their instructions, and that is that. Hey, look at that. It's an emote. You guys can see how bad I am at making those. There we go. Our contact plate is installed. We should have better contact from the CPU. But now we're pretty much ready to grab the mounting kit out of the cooler. Make sure that's on there. If there's anything too special to do there. I just want to grab that, throw it in there before I put it in the case. You want to try to do as much as you can outside of the case. Once you put it in the case, you're kind of restricted based on the space allowed inside the case. So, we're going to grab this mounting kit. Built with LS series before. I don't think I've ever put one on a 790 or a Z690 with a 1700. Hoping that's not a problem, meaning they didn't not send that hardware. I didn't think of that. It's been a while. Still could get some old ones. And hardware like that. So this is our back plate that we're going to be using. Comes with it. This is adjustable here. Pull these out and or push these screws over for 1700. I believe we have to do that for the socket, which then just goes into the holes here and just sits there for our next step. Those are our studs. I just want to make sure we get LGA 1700. So far it's a good sign. Definitely A and B. Pretty good cooling time. It is. Although I'm not that cool. Ugh. So this is a cool thing that Deepcool does, but they actually put the socket number on their little circle spacers, whatever you want to call these things, plastic spacers. But this is 1700. We can install that. This is a 1700. These are ours. Well, the reason why you want to make sure you're using the 1700 spacers versus 11 something or 1200, whatever other socket size, is because the height of the CPU is different than the older one. So therefore it would not provide the proper pressure onto the CPU for the LGA 1700 socket. So it is very important to make sure you're using the correct one. These two baggies are not going to be needed. We'll need these screws for later. We'll need these for later, as well as these. And of course we'll need the fans. I at least have the cooler here. I had mounted. I'm going to put it in the case. It will be ready to go. Okay. We're going to get the case out and slap this mother. Again, this is the Phanteks Eclipse P360K. A little smaller than your P500 and P600. But it still can mount a 360 millimeter AIO on the top, which is by far the best position that you want to put your cooler for your CPUs on the top. That's becoming more and more of a kind of a default for cases. So more and more case manufacturers are ensuring that that is a feature, because these CPUs are hot, and so we need to cool those. So this is our P3600 or P360 D360 Eclipse. Jesus. In black, it's got a front mesh, nice tempered glass side panel, thumb screws to remove the tempered glass side panel. This pulls back. Does include 3 addressable RGB fans here. It's awesome. I was going to try, I think, doing push-pull with this, but it doesn't look like we're going to have the clearance. We'll see when I put the motherboard in there. It's always something I try to do when I'm building with cases. And then just share the knowledge. Back panel, same thing. Thumb screws. Slides back towards the rear of the case. And we have our hardware box and the hard drive tray towards the front and the back. A couple of solid state, 2.5 solid state drive cages. This one's not here, but looks like we could potentially have one in the case here or in the box. Could actually mount one here before you put the motherboard in if you really wanted to. Yeah, for the most part, clean cable management. Simple, very simple case. Holes are cut out nice. They're rounded, so they're not going to cut your fingers when you shove your fingers through these holes trying to grab cables anywhere in the case, which is nice. That's the sign of a premium case. Nice mesh front. So great airflow. Same kind of design with the G500 that we were building with the other day for actually Judge Drudge's build. Giveaway build. We're actually going to be doing a build for him too. So that's going to be a big one. Big boy with a lot of custom. So for the most part, the only concern is the actual height of the cooler. If we were to do push-pull, it's going to be pretty thick, and I just don't know if it's going to clear the heatsink on the motherboard and the RAM. So that is the concern. Got all of our studs in the right places here already, which is nice. We do need to put in our shield. You love your case? That's awesome, man. Glad you love your case. I like talking about cases. I should do more case reviews on the YouTube channel, because a lot of people like my reviews because I go into a lot of detail. I find myself going into detail, doing more reviews on parts, and just kind of share what I look for. A case or a cooler. Bump that. Elbow. I always forget that camera's up there. I'm gonna actually rename this camera to the middle child. Sorry if you're... So we have this, we have 2 kids, a dog and a cat. We have our oldest kid that was obviously here first, and then we got our dog, and then we got the cat, and then we got the dog, and then we had our youngest. So technically the cat is kind of that middle child, and so we always tease and joke about it, but we always forget about the cat. If there was ever a fire in here, hopefully not, because that would suck. I'm just saying. feel pretty bad because I think we would forget the cat at first. But he's always hiding anyway, so not very social. I think that's part of why. Yeah, we had a long story actually. I had my brother over. Is it casing time? It's casing time. But anyway, my brother was over mowing the lawn for me because I'm busy working full time and still building custom PCs. Doing the stream, handling the content creation, marketing, sales, everything. So I get pretty busy. So I honestly can't keep up with my lawn. And we hired a lawn service to mow the lawn here, Michigan. And if anybody knows, in Michigan, it's pretty tough to find somebody, especially like mid-season. Usually everybody's booked up full and they really can't take on any of their new clients. And so I just didn't have the time to mow lawn. So my brother came over to help, and he ended up running over the gas vent that Consumers has in our yard, and caused the entire I guess the main pipe of gas to like flow out of our vent, and so it smelled like gas over here. It was kind of dangerous. So we all had to exit the house. And the moral of the story is we forgot the cat. Nothing happened, of course. And, DT or Consumers was out here pretty quick to plug it up, but and I give them credit because they're out here pretty quick. Same with the fire department. The fire department actually showed up because they were worried about, I guess, people getting hallucinations from gas. I would have welcomed it. Okay. Shit. Fell off. Oh, yes. Nice. Fell off. That's what I didn't want to deal with, but that's okay. We'll deal with it later. Pull these off. Now. That. Good. Anyway. We forgot the cat. That's the long story short. During that gas leak event. That was, fun. Our motherboard is installed. I'm going to grab pretty much as many cables as I can, especially the top here, and get those plugged in now, and I don't have to deal with it after I put the cooler in, and that includes my power cable. Because I remembered this time, this is the first time I remembered. I did it myself. I know that's a good idea, and then I always forget about it. Put the damn cooler in, and then forget the damn cables up there. And I have to spend an extra 5 minutes trying to put these cables in. So one. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that works too. Two. So. Here we go. Let's do a couple of cable combs. We have 2 8-pin connections up there, so we're gonna just grab these really quick and put a couple of cable combs on there and throw them through there. They are done, and I don't have to deal with them later after the cooler's installed, which sucks, by the way. This one's a little tighter, like the P500 or G500 case. Definitely a little bit more roomy, so you could manage it. This one, a little tighter. It is slimmed down a little bit and shorter. So, definitely a recommendation. If you are building in this case, try to get your cables in it. Cooler up there. Here we go. You can even see right here the lines for the cooler are right here, so I mean, it's gonna be down like right here. I don't think we're gonna be able to do push-pull on this one. Okay, the thought that counts. If I can get you a better view here. Get a little bit better view instead of just staring at the back of the PC. There. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. Right now, all I'm doing is putting cable combs on cables. One of my favorite things to do. Can't tell if you can tell my sarcasm there. You smell it? Anyway, yeah. Definitely planning on a couple of new YouTube videos for ProTechTip. Eye out on the YouTube channel for those. Haven't quite decided which one I want to go with first, to be honest with you. I have a couple of different ideas for a really good video. Now it's just a matter of having the time to do it together. Uploading. Been a lot of activity on the YouTube channel. A couple of our DDR5 videos. Kind of cool. Glad we're able to help some people with DDR5 questions. Mostly what we're here for. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get the cooler fans taken care of, mount the cooler, get the brackets. Then we'll be gonna mount it. Hey Manny, what's up, man? Those are mine. What are you doing? Let's go ahead and get this cooler going. Shall we? Hoses were rubbing a little bit on that box. Recommendation for Deepcool: look at maybe ship yourself one of your items. Take a look at the wear and tear on the hoses. Would recommend maybe a piece of plastic sheath on these tubes, rubbing up on it, putting some rub marks on there. I was able to rub most of it out there, but Deepcool should keep an eye on that. Go ahead and get our fans. So our tubes are pretty much going to be forward, so we want our cables facing the back of the PC here. These are super nice case or radiator fans. They go up to like 1800 RPM. Very Deepcool. They're the FC 120s, or yeah, the FC 120s, 120 millimeters. They also have 140 millimeter options. They're only, as far as I know, available F, which is not daisy chainable like these ones. These ones are daisy chained. This one connection pops from one fan to the other. Then you have one connection coming off the fans here, which is really nice. Going to a splitter that splits off no addressable RGB and PWM, as well as SATA power, because you can put, that makes it so you can put many more fans on here without relying on the port, the 3-pin 5-volt port, or the fan header. Draws power directly from the power supply, but still controlled by the PWM header and the addressable RGB header. So a nifty design, in my opinion. Just hard to get these fans right now. So I love these fans. I wish they would do a couple of different things. One, make them available in 140 millimeter. Also make a 280 millimeter version of this cooler, as well as white. They only sell in packs of 3. They won't sell individuals, so when I'm doing like a full build in white, I'll do 3. I have this last fan in the back that I want to throw in there. I can't get a single one. I have to buy a pack for free, and it's always just to have extra fans and then keep rotating them, etc. That's great. That's how I end up doing it. Before I put that cooler in, actually, plugged in. Back. Coming from the back. Maybe. White sticker is annoying too. Stands out like a dildo. It's cooling time. Back to cooling time. Cooling time, it's case time, it's cooling time, it's case time. It's like Ben can't make his mind up. One. We have our pump. Alright, so let's screw these down and throw our radiator in there. I don't think anything else needs to be plugged in up there. Instead of the pump, which we're not going to plug in until we get the pump in there. How does that work? Oh shit. I gotta deal with that too. I was just thinking, I was like, oh yeah, and then we have to actually plug the pump RGB into the chain, fan chain here. So, that gets interesting. We're going to remove that thermal paste that came with it. We don't add. I do Thermal Grizzly. I can guarantee it's going to be a fresh paste every time. We're just going to wipe that stuff off. It's actually pretty fresh. it's disappointing waste, but again, use Thermal Grizzly. I know that gives me the best result. Hard to get anything nowadays, even eggs and milk. You have to spend like $100 if you want a dozen eggs and a gallon of milk. Yeah, these fans have been a pain in the ass to get. I honestly don't know why, because they were so easy to get before, and then all of a sudden they got really hard. Like, I think more people learned about them, and now they're just sold out all the time. Because they're really nice fans for a decent price too. I think they're like 49 bucks for a set of 3, and they sync with your motherboard software really nice without any trouble. So my goal here is get this cable that's coming off the pump disconnection here, so it's part of the chain for the RGB. But I don't really want this cable just kind of floating around inside the case, but I may not have a choice. So I'm gonna plug it in and see if I can just fancy it up that way. I'm gonna stand this case up, switch you guys to a side view so that you have a better view here. Hello. Then you could kind of see what I'm doing. Oh, by the way, we lost a video here, or I have that. Hidden. I don't know why. Must have been from last stream. So the cooler's going to go in like so. This cable is the one I'm kind of worried about. But we only have one cable that we need to really shove to the back right now. I put the extension on it so I can really work with it a lot easier, so I can set the cooler down and deal with this cable. Gives me a little bit of flexibility here because I gotta fight these cables I already put in here. Definitely would not do push-pull. I'm going to go ahead and get one screw started here at the top, and then a second on another at the other end. I just remembered when the big box of eggs used to be $2, now it's $15. Isn't it crazy? It's so expensive to live right now. Absolutely insane how expensive things. Like COVID happened, everything got super expensive. Like almost an excuse. And then the price is never going to come back down. That's just going to be the new price going forward for the rest of our lives, probably. I don't think it'll ever go back down. Oh, depressing thinking about it, thanks. But it is depressing. So with how tight this is, I'm going to you can see how low the cooler gets here. It's low. That's why I like the P500. 500. I have way more space up there to deal with and work with things. But I am going to use probably one of those adjustable RGB fans. The pack for the rear. And we'll get this mounted here. Get this mounted real quick. Find the hole. Got to put the right brackets on the cooler itself, or the pump, or the puck. Way we can install this onto the socket. And we also want to make sure that our hoses are down, face down. Clean these up here in a minute. Want these up this way. Want that down. Here. Just want to make sure I'm putting these on the right way. Probably a better top-down view for you guys, so let me. And sure, let's just let that fall in there. You okay? Our dog was just screaming. Not a lot lately. Slap some Thermal Grizzly in there. Get thermal paste on your finger, because why not? Wipe it on your jeans. Now what I'm going to do is stick my hand actually under here and hold that back plate. Fall back through. Up. And we just have a couple of, damn it, nuts to throw on here. Fight it for. And try to argue about going on there. And there's 4 of these. 4 of these that hold cooler down to. I'm just starting them with my finger. We're going to finish that up with a screwdriver, Phillips. On that one, all the way around. Big turn. Work tight. About the same all the way around. Now, this is our pump header. It's going to be up in here underneath this cooler, and kind of a pain in the ass that you guys are not going to do this. But this is one of the items that I was not able to plug in before we put the cooler in. Use my surgical pliers actually. Plug it in. Handy tool. Hot. Get out of head pinches myself into time. I have fat finger. There we go. Right. There, we got our cooler mounted, our pump installed. What I'm gonna do is just that's don't really want it touching the CPU. So far, so good. Holy crap. Man, I'm allergic to bullshit. It's kind of a sad thing because we're only going to be really using one of these fans out of this 3-pack. The sad thing about it is these Fantech fans require a specific addressable RGB connection. Actually, I do have a single, so I'm going to keep these with. We're not going to be using it anyway. Let me go find that cable really quick. Got it. This is actually a deep cool cable from their CF pack, which uses the same connection, same pin layout. FYI. You're at a pinch and you have a bunch of deep cool cables like I do. Phanteks and Phanteks. These Phanteks fans that have this 3-pin special RGB connection on it. Use that. The reason why we're using Phanteks fans is because deep cool fans aren't available. Beep boop. These are just little vibrator rubber washers. They dampen the vibration. Lowers the noise from any type of vibration that it causes if they spin up fast and they vibrate. Kind of softens that sound. Alright, so now we got two cables that we gotta stuff through that hole again. Probably should have poured it out before I put that. Still. So, what I'll do is use my surgical pliers once again. Feed leads the wires through the hole. Stand this bad boy up. Make a funny face and find the hole. Kind of out of the way so I can go around. Lost it. Not cool. It's a tight reach in here. Tight hole. Got one. Cable number 2. I don't think I'm gonna get it up though. Definitely without the surgical pliers. Beautiful. Now we can get to mounting this and moving on to the rest of the build. Then just 4 case fan screws here. Screws for the fan, case fan. Bleh. Let me just go ahead and throw my screwdriver in a weird way. Not left-handed. Probably not a good idea that I'm using my screwdriver left-handed. Definitely not. There we go. We got our cooler, along with our motherboard, our RAM, our CPU, our SSD, all our crap plugged in at the top. Now we just need to plug a bunch of stuff in here for the motherboard, and then we can start slapping the graphics card in there. Call it a day. Power supply too, I guess. We need that, right? HD audio here. I actually have a connection here, RGB. Wondering if maybe I can cable up here. That doubtful. Separate. That would be a big pain in the ass. And I'm just talking about Phanteks cable. Phanteks fans that are currently. But what we do have though is 3 PWM fan connections. We'll here for it. Plug it on a chain. I think our fan header 1 is at the top of the board. These bottom of the board. I want this in header 1 or 2. Fan 1 is at the top of the board in the most peculiar position as well. That up there. Our RGB hole here, which is all we need is our USB 3.0. Okay. Here. And it looks like we just have a power button for our front panel connection. It'll be right here. Good deal. That was our fan 1 for our front fan. 3.0 here. Our HD audio going down here. Plates at the bottom corner of the board here. Stuff some of that cable back in. And then our addressable RGB for our front fans. Gonna go to header number 2. Then our power switch, which is JFP1. JFP1. What it's called on that up on your motherboard manual and confirm which pin power button. There we go. Now we just have one more fan and one RGB connection to deal with here. Quick. There we go. Easy lemon squeezy. Now really all we gotta do is slap this graphics card in there. Finish up the cables. Put the power supply in. Yeah, might as well just fire this bad boy up and see what happens. MSI Pro with an MSI Venice graphics card. Beautiful card, beautiful build. Well balanced. The only thing I forgot was our bracket. Uh-huh. That's a bracket to put on. Oh, pretty, it's a bracket. Not going to tie into the same what the card is currently out. But I do want to keep it somewhat loose, not tight. That way we can get the bracket under there and allow the weight to kind of like drop down on it. So we're going to remove the 3 thumb screws. This is usually the pain in the ass portion of putting any bracket on for a GPU like this, especially this style. Kickstand's a lot easier. Aesthetics for bracket better than graphics card. Sorry guys, have one. Hold on for my guy. Missing that vibrator setting. Yeah, hold it there for a second as I get this started. These brackets are a bigger pain in the ass than most people think, in my opinion. But what I'm going to do really is focus on just getting all of these screws in here. That way I don't have back plates falling out or whatnots. But just get it started, you know, the thread started. And then we could come back and start adjusting the position of this actual support bracket. Really brief down on it where we want it. Make sure it's tight where we want it, and then go. It's going to hold the card. Now I'm going to tighten the card down. It really can't come down now. It's going to be supported very nicely.
Go ahead and switch to side view. There's our support bracket. Looks way better than, you know, your weird dildo thing that goes right here like that. Sorry. If you have one of those, I'm sorry. The computer builder's opinion on them. Ugly.
Alright, so let's get the rest of these power cables in there, put the power supply in, do a little bit of cable cleanup, and fire this bad boy up. Much left here. Going pretty quick. We're about an hour in. Kind of what I anticipated. Or like 45-ish. Extra gas. So this RTX 3080 has two 8-pin connections that we're dealing with. IE. Damn it. Do, 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 do. Cable comes, guys. How did I do that? You're looking at this, I'm like, I put this one upside down. And it's because of the stupid logo on here. You guys may not be able to see it on the camera. But, I looked at every single one. I made a mistake up there and fixed it. Pretty sure I put these logos on the right way. Lo and behold, one was wrong. Every time special. Nice and pretty. Nice and pretty. They have these little 3-pin. Usually just put those on the back side so you it also holds cables kind of bounce around, travel, etc. Not gonna get fucked up. Yes. There you go. Nice and pretty. Pretty white and black cables there. Great. The way we want it. And like I said, it moves around as one cable if I pull on one or the other. I'm using those 3 little tips. Now we got our 24-pin that we got to put in here. If I remember correctly, this board might have another 6. not. But some of the newer 790 boards, 690 and X670, and some B6550s all have an extra power connector for the motherboard. PCIe 6-pin. Provides power to PCIe lanes. 99% sure that's what it's doing. What else would it fucking be doing? Then third. Cable combs, guys. I'm telling you. Cable combs are getting to me. At night, when you wake up in a cold sweat thinking of cable combs, like you would understand. Just saying. Kind of got like this club vibe going in here. Like, you're like 2 a.m. Had like 18 shots and up at a weird club, and you have no idea actually where you are. Dark, and there's flashing lights, and this is like here in the background. Kind of what's going on right now. DJ starts picking on you. More cable comes. I love the cable comes. Hey, GG Games. Thanks for subscribe, man. And the follow. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you, Power AI. We're just building PCs over here. Quite nice build. Trying to keep it square, clean. What do you think? Look clean? Nice aesthetic mixture of the white and black with the MSI Pro Series motherboard. MSI Venice graphics card of the white and black with the band choice and the case. Nice. Aesthetically, it looks nice. I'll kind of give you a side view of it for you. Side view. Hey, thanks for the cheers, sir. Do I have any GPU recommendations for 350 or under US dollars? Well, today's your lucky day. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it is probably your lucky day because the GPU market is actually really good right now, especially for the buyer. It's a buyer's market. So you can actually get an RTX 3060 for about $300, $350. New. So the 3060 is probably going to be your best bet. You could probably do an AMD and might be able to find like an open box deal if you're okay with going with like an open box deal, like an RX 6700 XT for $350 right now if you are into the AMD stuff. So that is going to be your kind of price points, AMD versus NVIDIA for $350. Used, I would be very careful about the used market because there are a lot of minor cards going around.
and miners are just dumping these cards like crazy, trying to get some of their cash back from their investment. So, and they're not doing a very good job cleaning the card up and repasting and thermal and redoing the thermals. So if you're okay with doing that kind of stuff, repasting and putting new thermal pads on the card and cleaning it up probably, then by all means get a really good deal used. And you know, you can find tons of cards on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace right now. There's just a flood of them. It's ridiculous how many cards. Like, where the hell were these cards a year ago? Oh, that's right, they were being mined with. So just be careful on the used market if you're looking used. But new, definitely an RTX 3060 or an AMD 6700 XT within that price range, or a 6650 XT, $350 price range. New open box 6700 XT. You might even be able to find an open box RTX 3060 Ti for $300. And personally, Amazon's open box, it's usually literally somebody received something, plugged it in, sent it back. 9 times out of 10. Buyer's remorse. Thanks so much. Need help finding a good deal after paying $300 for a 1650 during COVID. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, sir. We were all falling victim of that. Yeah, $300 for a 1650, which is probably worth like maybe $100 right now. I'm sorry, sir. That was a tough time. Yep, I do recall. But look on Amazon and take a look at their warehouse, because you could still return it. And if you land like a $350 RTX 3060 Ti that's basically brand new out of the warehouse, if you have a problem with it, you can return it. They have great return policy for open box items still, just like they would with regular Amazon stuff. Just make sure it's coming from Amazon and Amazon's warehouse. Don't buy open box from one random seller. Just make sure it's coming from Amazon and Amazon's warehouse if you're buying an open box from Amazon. Same thing with Newegg. Don't buy used, refurbished, or open box from Newegg, period. Don't do it. There is a lot of beef on them right now with a lot of PC builders, and they have a shitty policy for returning open box items. But I mean, that's going to be your best deal. Good time though. Good time to buy a video card. Just sold it for $80. I'm sorry. That is a $220 net loss on that. I hope you at least got some enjoyment out of it, you know, with paying for it. But I mean, you could actually equate that to, you know, you had a year of fun with it, and it was $220 that you lost. Would be about similar to just going a night out at the stupid casinos. Is this good? I actually don't know. Let me see if I can open that link from here. I might have to walk over to my stream PC's way over that way. Let me see. Control C. Open that link. Let's see. Let's hope my browser opens on the screen. It didn't. Let me go open that one. Hopefully it's not a virus. Okay, so that's an X. Personally, I would avoid this one. Only because it manufacturers but personally I would avoid this one because it's an HP RTX 3060. So is it a good one? The card itself, yeah, it's fine. It's not a bad card. It's just the manufacturer warranty process is going to be a pain in the ass. So if you ever have to return it, you're going to be returning it to HP, and it's probably not even a direct sell from HP. So what's happened is somebody bought a bunch of pre-builts from HP and ripped the cards out during the COVID/GPU shortage, pulled the cards out and sold it for the price of the machine, basically, and then resold all the components from the HP build, or resold it as a PC without a graphics card. That's how a lot of people are making big bucks and getting their hands on RTX 3060s for resale. So I would avoid that one. Do not buy that HP card. No warranty behind it. Buy one from MSI, Asus, Zotac, Gigabyte even though I prefer not to use Gigabyte, but I'm going to just buy an RX 67. Yeah, same thing though. Look out for those HP Omens or Dell versions, because they have their own OME cards. Cool. Let's get the power supply in this bad boy and fire this thing up. What do you think? Ugh. We do have a little bit of cable management to deal with, but outside of that, for the most part, we're nearly done. Might want to move this hard drive case out of my way. Hard drives anymore anyway. It's like 300 from Amazon. Dang, even better than what I thought. Yeah, because the 6700 is close to RTX 3060 Ti performance. Just make sure you have the power supply to back that thing up. What kind of power supply do you have in your PC, PG games? What's the power supply that you got in your machine? You need to make sure that that thing will handle it. Also, make sure, since we have the power supply, make sure you have PCIe connections. For example, one of these. If you have one cable with a pigtail, most of those 6700 XTs require 2 connections. Do not use the pigtail like this. This is a no-no. Use 2 separate cables. It's a no-no because that cable's delivering like 75 watts, but each connection is asking for 75 watts. So you're asking 150 watts through a 75 watt cable. Why it's a no-no. It's okay to do for like a temporary situation, be for a short period of time, but I would at full time. Also leaving performance on the table. For awareness. EVGA 500 watt, yep, so that 500 watt EVGA power supply is only going to have a single connection. Double check that video card that you're going to buy for $300 and see if it has 2 or just 1 PCIe 8 or 6-pin connections. If it requires 2, I would recommend a power supply upgrade as well. And then also the length of the card, depending on what case you're building in. Make sure the length of your card is going to fit physically inside your case. Also another thing I see people run into in smaller builds. Smaller meaning started out with a cheap case and upgrading. Crap, my video card does. Or they start out with like an HP or something. Thing. Either way, just double check. Good to know. So that way, you're not trying to plug your card in, it doesn't fit. But the 500 watts, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be enough for that 6700 XT. I recommend more like 650 to 750, and make sure it has 2 PCIe cables. Spent all my YouTube bread on that PC. Nice. Nice. That's good, man. Upgrades are good. Glad you're continuing with the upgrades. Was it a new build that you did? Brand new?
through this billion cables. I'm going to flip this down and probably switch to a top-down view here. Probably going to be a better option for us. Now we're going to break the zip ties. Oh, crap. Cables on this side. We'll just do that last. Now we're going to break the zip ties out. This is why I buy a massive bag of zip ties. Hand cramp. So gotta tie it up. Holy, my integrated graphics dying right now. I'm sorry. Might be the stream too. My stream PC right now that's running this stream is actually a Ryzen 7 5700X. Good chip. More than enough horsepower to run anything you want on it. For production purposes, maybe a little light, but or for rendering. It's a job done. I personally love to see power consumption's kind of the lower end. Clean this up a little bit here and on it nice and tidy. Clean cut. Alright, so now that we have all our cables tamed here, we're going to introduce this 24-pin connection. Do a BIOS update. Pretty good shape. Yeah, about an hour and 45 minutes. We're at an hour 52. Not bad, I'd say. But this is a Intel Core i7-3700KF. We didn't really need the onboard graphics, so we went with a slightly cheaper version. The KF is the K version, just without integrated graphics. That's all it is. So it's as overclockable as the K series. Just without the integrated graphics. And I prefer that. Save a few bucks. Huh. Is it only when I'm using my microphone? Your stream is experiencing issues.
Your stream is experiencing minor issues. Well, we're at the end of the stream anyway, so I'm just going to kill it, call it a night. Thanks everybody for dropping in and saying hi. If you can or cannot hear me, I'm sorry. Apparently we're all of a sudden having internet difficulties or something, because my frames are just getting trashed here. Switch to just one camera and see if that helps. Huh. Definitely an internet issue. So I apologize if it's coming in choppy, but anyway, thanks for stopping in, hanging out. See you next stream. Thursday's gonna be our next stream. We're building actually a beast of a build in a fractional design torrent case. So pretty big build on Thursday night. So feel free to stop in Thursday night and catch that stream. We got a lot of cool hardware we're gonna be building with. Have a good night, guys.